Hello friends, it's me, and today let's watch Is the Mountain Dew Conspiracy Legit? From the food tiers. Together, let's go. Let's start. Thank you.
Have you heard of the Mountain Dew conspiracy theory?
Have you guys heard about the Mountain Dew conspiracy?
The Mountain Dew conspiracy.
Mountain Dew. I guess you want to call it a theory.
The Mountain Dew conspiracy. It's got people wondering if Mountain Dew really has been predicting catastrophes for decades now. And honestly, it's deeper than you could possibly imagine. Nobody's safe, especially not Disney. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, the channel where it's due time we do conspiracies. And
Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory. Hello.
I gotta tell you, I've seen my fair share of crazy conspiracy theories on the internet, okay? Heck, I've talked about a couple on this channel myself, but this one right here might just take the cake. If you're not in my little corner of the internet where every other post you get is about fast food conspiracy theories or fast food conspiracy theories, you may not even be aware of what I'm talking about, so let me bring you up to speed. Earlier this year, people started catching on to the fact that Mountain Dew, the beloved nuclear waste green soda that's been keeping gamers gaming since 2007, yeah, scratch that, 1999, maybe? Or was it 2005? Regardless, the drink
So aga 2 decades aga 20 years.
synonymous with gaming has predicted catastrophe after catastrophe dating all the way back to the early 2000s. Ridiculous? Yes. Possible? Aggravatingly so. But here's the thing. It's not just global catastrophes that Mountain Dew has predicted. The rabbit hole goes way down. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you just how much evil the Dew be doing. Now, this whole thing seems to have started about 2 years ago, 2023, suddenly circulating the rounds on Facebook and Reddit when people saw a suspiciously close connection between Mountain Dew's Maui Burst flavor and the Maui fires of 2023. From there, the cork boards and red yarn got pulled out, and the conspiracy plot thickened as people started looking back through the years. So let's start at
Alright. Or maybe it's just coincidental, you know. And you are thinking way too much. Sorry.
the beginning, shall we? According to the theory, the earliest prediction made by Mountain Dew was the famous Code Red. It was the first time that the brand experimented with flavors outside of its trademark vague green. It was insanely successful. It increased Mountain Dew's overall sales by 6% in its first year, and is still a fan favorite to this day. It was released in May 2001, which has people connecting it to what is possibly the Code Red in American history, September 11, 2001. The interesting thing here is that Code Red at the time was more commonly attributed to hospital codes or military usage. And if we're being honest, the movie A Few Good Men. And even within the military usage, it was more often used in regards to extreme weather conditions, not any sort of emergency safety system. In fact, the Homeland Security Advisory System that's still in place today that denotes the risk of terrorist attacks in the US wasn't even a thing until after 9/11, March 2002 to be exact. It could
Yeah, Code Red, as he mentions, is more towards the wind. How bad the weather is, how bad the environment, the atmosphere is. It's like super windy. It's a no-go.
could be argued that Mountain Dew Code Red could have been foreseeing both the attack and the subsequent safety system that would then be implemented because of it. And listen, if I'm gonna face another global catastrophe, I'm doing it well prepared. I've got my Mountain Dew emergency kit ready. Let's see here, I got Coke Zero, duh, 2 copies of Men's Health, September 2017 issue with Ryan Reynolds on the front, a carton of eggs, a whole bunch of stuff. And I know what you're asking yourself.
No way! Yu-Gi-Oh cards! Let's go!
This economy? Yeah, because I use today's sponsor, Upside. It's a free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, and dining. And yeah, I'm talking cold, hard cash, which I never understood. My money's never been cold or hard, but I digress. It's cash, not points, not confusing rewards, not credits, or Mountain Dew cans repurposed to look like giant coins. Money, moolah, plata, dinero that you can transfer right into your bank account. The only mistake I ever made with this was telling my wife, because now, no matter where I go, whether it's filling up my tank or when we're out on a date, she's always triple and quadruple checking that I'm using Upside. I love her, but if I hear I just don't want to miss out on $300 a month like some people are making. One more time, I'm going to drop kick her square in the face. And that's not an exaggeration. Top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description below to download Upside and use code FOODTHEORY to get $10 cash back on your first grocery, restaurant, or gas purchase. Or scan the QR code here to claim this offer. Now let's get back to Mountain Dew. Because, listen,
Well, thank you so much for supporting the food theorist in this episode. Thank you. Let's continue.
one-off coincidence does not a conspiracy make. But the next big flavor release was none other than Baja Blast, the Taco Bell exclusive that won the hearts of people everywhere. This one was released in July of 2004 and was the next big push in flavor evolution following Code Red. The word blast and the giant wave illustrations on the can have led people to connect this to the Boxing Day tsunami of 2004. For those of you unfamiliar with it, it is the deadliest tsunami in history and the deadliest natural disaster of the 21st century. And I do want to take a moment here to pause for a second, because I have personal connections to both of these two events. I was a little kid in Connecticut when 9/11 happened, and I was a slightly less little kid in Hong Kong when the tsunami hit. I know people that were directly affected by these tragedies. It goes without saying, but these events, and the rest I'll talk about in this episode, were tragedies where thousands or hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. And I want to be clear that I'm not trying to diminish or trivialize or make light of the fact that these were horrible events that impacted hundreds of thousands of families worldwide. I'm just digging into what this conspiracy is saying. It's important for me to take this time to clarify that. And now that we've had this serious moment, let's continue. Joke, theory, Tom sucks, and...
Don't say Tom sucks. Come on. Don't do this to a fellow bro.
4 years after Baja Blast, Mountain Dew released Voltage, their blue raspberry flavor. It also coincided with the 2008 financial crisis. Voltage was announced as the winner of the Dewmocracy campaign in August, where fans were able to vote on the new flavor that the brand would release. It was a massive marketing push. This happened right before the crisis hit a peak in September. So far, we've covered 3 major flavors of Mountain Dew, all within months of a major event tied to the release or even the name. This honestly makes a tinfoil hat look like a mighty good accessory right now. So let's take a look at some of the other ones that have been repeated on these podcasts.
Maui bursts. 3 months later, guess what's happened? Fires in Maui. Francis Scott Key Bridge. Why did they have a flavor that released last year called Star Spangled Splash? Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key.
Okay, this is getting a little freaky. Sure, the first 3 seemed prophetic enough, but could be open to interpretation. I mean, it's not like the word voltage has much to do with a global financial crisis. But suddenly, you have Maui burst, and 3 months later, fires in Maui. Then, a specifically named Star Spangled Splash right before the collapse of a bridge named after the man who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? I mean, who wouldn't buy into this? I've got goosebumps. You can't see them, but I'm pretty sure the editor can give me goosebumps. Editor! Goosebump me! No, not that goosebump. You know what? It's fine. Moving on. There's one more
To be fair, those are goose. They are bumps. On you.
flavor mentioned by this person for us to take a look at.
They even had a flavor called Pitch Black, and I told people to watch for it. Then the IT thing
Everything
happened.
shut down.
That shut down. One big blackout.
It's not often I'm left speechless, but when I was watching this clip and started hearing these names and events get more and more connected, and then saw that Mountain Dew themselves commented telling him to keep his voice down, I mean, that's it. Roll credits. Theory over. Conspiracy proven.
But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. Okay, thank you.
Brand itself even felt the need to comment. But just for the sake of due diligence, let's take a closer look at those flavors. Because where the first three had years in between their releases, these last three only had 1 year separating them. Does this mean that Mountain Dew is predicting these events quicker and quicker? Is there some sort of countdown to a Mountain Dew apocalypse that we're uncovering here? The Maui fires occurred in 2023. According to this conspiracy theorist, a mere 3 months after Maui Burst hit the shelves. Thing is, that's not not true. Maui Burst was actually released in Dollar General stores in the US in October 2019, a full 4 years before the fires. Granted, that was only a limited time release, but it became a permanent dollar store flavor only a few months later in 2020. To be fair, it was only sold in single 16-ounce cans, and it wasn't until April 2023, 4 months before the fires, that it would finally get released in 12 packs. Not the cleanest connection anymore, but hey, we can give the benefit of the doubt for one. The Star Spangled Splash name is eerie though, so let's take a closer look at that one. The Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse took place in March of 2024, and the Star Spangled Splash flavor was released in June of 2024. Not really much of a prediction if it doesn't actually, come before the event it's supposedly predicted. Unfortunately, Pitch Black is in the same situation. It's actually even more egregious. Pitch Black was first introduced by Mountain Dew for Halloween in 2004. It was re-released for years after until they made it permanent in 2021, which was still a clean 3 years before the IT blackout it was supposed to have predicted. And sure, I guess in this case, it did at least come out before the event, unlike the Star Spangled Splash, but a 3
So technically speaking, if you want to nitpick, you have to nitpick properly. You're just giving false information. It's not right. Please don't. Truth is more important. Please.
year error margin isn't really all that impressive, especially because it was released and re-released a bunch of times before that. That's like predicting when a traffic light is gonna turn green and getting it wrong 4 times before it finally turns and you celebrate like you're a psychic. A 50-50 hit rate isn't really doing wonders for winning me over into this conspiracy anymore. I do a better job of predicting when you're gonna click that subscribe button. 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Done. See? Nailed it. And if I was right,
Subscribe. Thank you.
make sure you write "whoa" in the comments below. Let's freak some people out, because Mountain Dew sure isn't doing it anymore. And maybe you've sat there this whole time saying, well, of course Mountain Dew isn't Nostradamusing us with their flavors. Which, fair, totally fair. But there's something else here that's worth talking about. I've been seeing this everywhere. Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. It's been repeated over and over for months. How it's presented is pretty darn convincing. Heck, even the flavors that don't line up are pretty easily hand-waved away by saying that
Not every flavor correlates with every event.
we've already shown those last 3 don't really add up. But here's the thing. Since Code Red, Mountain Dew has released dozens of flavors. Limited time ones, permanent ones, international ones, all of which could line up with some sort of event if you try and find it. When it comes to this particular conspiracy, and some others, but hey, it's not about them right now, it boils down to confirmation bias and correlation. Confirmation bias is the tendency to look for information that supports something you already believe. You'll naturally have a bias to seek out things that go along with your idea and discount anything that doesn't. Sherlock Holmes
Yeah, confirmation bias. It becomes when you nitpick and you become tunnel visions in focusing on the aspect that you want to fit into your puzzle and disregard the tons and tons and tons of evidence that prove you wrong. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. A self-fulfilling prophecy. There's a confirmation bias. Survivorship bias, I guess.
actually has one of my favorite quotes about this. Basically, he says that if you try and theorize without actual information, you start to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. It's sort of what we're all about here. We try to theorize in order to fit in the facts that were presented. This conspiracy seems to be doing the opposite. There's a reason why the predictive flavors seem to speed up. It's not because there's a doomsday clock only Mountain Dew is aware of and is trying to warn us about. It's because they're releasing more flavors over time. And frankly, a lot of horrible stuff happens everywhere at all times. More flavors, more horrible events, more opportunities to connect them. Again, some of these interesting coincidences. But when more flavors don't apply to catastrophes than ones that do, that's all it is. Coincidence. The most important thing for you to take away from this, especially in this day and age, is that this conspiracy hinges on correlation, meaning the connection between 2 things. In this case,
The unfortunate thing is really fake news. And as an audience, you need to recognize which one is real, which one is not real. Which one is real, which one is not real. Okay? Fact check it. Don't just spread useless gossips, because case in point, spoken words have power.
Mountain Dew flavors and catastrophes. But correlation does not imply causation. At some point, you may have had a teacher, like I did, repeat that
Correct. Correlation doesn't mean causation.
so many times you started saying it in your sleep. All it means is that just because two things are happening at the same time doesn't mean one is causing the other. It's all just about finding close enough data. For example, I tracked the number of Mountain Dew flavor releases from 2000 to 2025 and matched that to the number of Disney Channel original movies that were released. And oh boy, take a look at this. There's an almost perfect negative correlation between the number of Mountain Dew flavors and DCOMs, meaning the more Mountain Dew flavors coming out, the less movies Disney Channel releases. That's right, according to this data set, Mountain Dew is the reason that we haven't gotten follow-ups to Phantom of the Megaplex, Motocrossed, or Cetus Lapidus, even a reboot of Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. Criminal, I tell you. And for what? Just so we could get Mountain Dew Mango Rush? I guess at the end of all of this, the irony is that while Mountain Dew was predicting all these catastrophic events with their flavors, we never imagined they were sealing the fate of the Disney Channel with every release. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Buen provecho. And hey, if you want to see more conspiracy theories, make sure to click the link on the screen now. And as always, I'll see you next week.
Santi, come on. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Buen provecho. Subscribe.